Good evening, everybody. First, I want to apologize for all the people that came to see Sergio. Sorry, but the hurricane. I remember last year we also had a situation that it was very similar to this one when we came to the center and the hurricane was going to come to, I think, with Matthew, right? And we were supposed to do a speech, and then we were like 3 to 4 people, so we sit around, put the chairs together, and we start talking. And then 2 new guests walk in, which was Steve, what's his name? Stanley, yeah. And Peter. And it was the first time that they came and they sat with us and we talked and they said, oh, I like this, so we're going to come back. So that tells you how important it is to keep the center open, and do what we're supposed to do, even though that, not many people show up, and we understand why. So as Luigi mentioned, yes, I am using a lot of the Gospel according to Spiritism for some of my speeches, because I think it's a great, wonderful book, and I think we need it as humanity. We need to get this. And chapter 18, it's about many are called, but a few are chosen. Okay? So let's get some participation here. What do you guys think that means? Many are called, but a few are chosen. What do you think it means?
The opportunity is there for many people, and not many people take the opportunity.
Okay. Anybody else?
Many are called to serve and in a greater good kind of project, but not everybody is prepared.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Go ahead, Stephen.
Well, I think that everyone is called.
Yeah.
It's our duty to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But very few of us are not necessarily chosen, but very few of us choose ourselves to do what it takes to evolve, to elevate ourselves, to take care of our
Okay. That is a good answer also. But that word here, choosing, that kind of set us off a little bit. Don't you think so? Why did they use choose? Chosen. Chosen. Why there was only a few chosen? Who's choosing? Who's choosing? Right? Because a few are chosen. So when we think about that, we're going to say that this, when we use this word here, it has something to do with effort. It has something to do, when you choose somebody, to do something, you choose it for a reason. Okay? So that's why the word chosen is that. It's because you're going to choose somebody according to their efforts and the spiritual path that they take, and etc. Well, that makes sense why the word chosen was used there. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Are you the chosen one right now?
Yes.
Are you? This is just a question for you to answer. If you are one of the chosen, do you think Jesus will pick you? Or God? Why? This is what this is all about. Are we going to be here, many, or are we going to be here? Now, is this up to whom? Up to us. Exactly. So, it's a very interesting chapter. And one of the things that the chapter is talking about is the narrow door. Everybody knows the story of the narrow door, right? Yes, enter out the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that lead to destruction. And many there will be which go and tread, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which lead into life, and a few there that might be that find it. Again, same thing. The door to destruction is wild. So that's easy to figure it out, right? So whose destruction are they talking about? Our own destruction, and the fact that we lose our incarnation here because it's too easy to do that. And we have to have that, keep that in mind. It's too easy not to do the right thing. And that takes what? We have to start to pay attention to those things. We have to start thinking about. It's easy. It is easy. Now, am I in this easy path? Is this where I'm going? Is this where I'm taking my life? Am I on the autopilot? Allowing materialism to drive my life, to guide me. This is the answer that only you and I can answer for ourselves. Now, this is a great message that is going to say to you, it's very easy not to do what you're supposed to do here. And it's hard. So the other door, it's like if we have two doors, guys. It's easy to figure it out. One is like this big and the other one is like this narrow. Of course, it's going to be so much easier to go to the wide gate. Of course. And that's what you say. What do you guys think? 90% of the population do? Anybody? Guess? 95? I don't know. I'm just putting out there. Because we're going to have to be the other 10%. We're going to have to be. If we want to be the right thing. Or be the real thing. And if you think that this message is more than 2,000 years old, you know, and then you think about it, that we're still choosing the wild door. This is just to let us know that if we are not vigil, if we don't pay attention, we're going to go there too. This is what this message is all about. Pay attention. Otherwise, this is going to happen to you too. Because it's easy, right? It's this materialism thing. It's so fascinating to us. It's fascinating. Oh, I just need a new house. And then I just need a new boat. And I just need a new car. And that's because society makes us believe, induces us to think that this is happiness. That's why you keep seeing a commercial all the time. Family is happy with a big house behind them. They're selling you guys this idea. And we are buying. We are buying it, unfortunately. Even us, that we are supposed to be the Christians. We are supposed to be the cities of both worlds, the spiritual and material. We are supposed to be the one that gives the example because we believe in this. And we are doing the same thing. we are living the lives 80% material, 20% spiritual. What do you guys think? 70-30? What's the percentage right now? What is important to you in your life? What is your focus? What are you giving more attention to it? That's another thing that we need to think about it. Okay? So, and another item of the same chapter said, not all of those who say, Lord, 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 will enter the kingdom of heaven. Oh gosh, that's tough. Because we are here praying and saying, Lord, 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 right? And it's still, you know, what if that happens? That would be sad for us, right? How disappointed we'll be that if we get at the end of our lives here and we were the one who were praying and then we said, I'm sorry, but, you know, you didn't do your job. Now let's read this. And this is in Matthew 7, okay? It says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, 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 shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but that the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? What this means here? Yes, there you go. Public lectures. What else? People that can see the future. People that gives advice, right? And in thy name that cast off all devils. What is? Mediumships. Spiritual work. Right? Anything that we do. And thy name that many wonderful works. Look at this. Works. That means that even if we are working here, giving our lives here to the center, it's not enough. Because nothing this matters if you're not going to change yourself. Nothing. Unfortunately, this is why so many people don't believe in religions people anymore. Because hypocrisy is killing us. It's killing us. We cannot just do that, those wonderful works. We cannot just do that if we don't change, if we don't learn how to tolerate, if we don't learn how to forgive, if we don't learn not to judge. Because this is us. So the problem with this is that some people will think, and this is the major problem with religions. I was reading a Facebook post today that somebody says, just believe and everything is going to be all right. Jesus Christ already died for you. So just believe and you should be good to go to heaven. That's killing us. Because that's not what Jesus said. He didn't. Look at this. He's very clear here. And then will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me. Guys, look at this. Depart from me. That means that if we are really, that's why I begin asking you guys, are you the chosen ones? How are we living our lives? Because it doesn't matter if you do the work only. Now, do the work, it's part of it. If you change yourself and then don't do the wonderful works, is also a problem. We want to go from 9 to 90. That doesn't work. We have to do both. Because when we work here at Center, when we do a job here, volunteer job, we're doing to grow spiritually. So that's why we have so many problems in here. Of course we do. So many. Because those are opportunities to grow. Sometimes I don't like what Francisco said. Sometimes Francisco don't like what I said. Guess what? We're here to learn how to get along with each other. Because if we're not doing this, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Now, I can have people that I like it better, that's okay. But dislike, feed that feeling of disliking, it's something that we need to work on it. And if we don't, depart from me, Jesus says. Depart from me. This is serious. This is a great, that means, guys, if we're here on the center going to mediumship meetings, that means if we're talking to people on Thursday, if that means that all the wonderful charity work that we do, we're going to throw everything in the garbage. And then think about the disappointment. The disappointment when we go. So, Luigi said on the last lecture, it was cool because in Portuguese he said that when you love your family, you know, it's great that you're loving your family, and then you have the necessity to grow that love, so that love will go to your other family, and then we come to the community, and then comes to the center, and then you expanding the love. Love, you practice love, but we cannot forget that love, it's also a feeling that brings us peace. It's so easy to figure it out if we're not doing our job, because it's when we don't have peace, when we are too agitated, when peace is something that it's missing in here. We're not doing our job. So, is it normal to feel that way? Yes, definitely. Is it normal to feed that feeling? No. So, be agitated, be angry are normal. Belongs to us human beings. To feel hurt. Yes, if somebody does something very terrible for you, you're going to feel hurt. That's okay. For how long? For how long? Good. Good timing. I like that 1 minute thing. Here you go. Exactly. Because then it's up to us. Do you understand? So emotions will come in. That's human. That's normal. That's the way that we are. Now, feed those things is a choice. It's a choice. Now, how are you guys in making your choice? That's another difference. How are we making? What are we choosing to keep inside of us? Because we are here to love. So when we do the work, it has to be done with love. And love is a feeling. So if you're here and you're angry inside, if you're agitated on the inside, the first thing you need to do before you help anybody is to take a break there, 10 to 15 minutes. Do a prayer. Become to your sense. Develop the capability to feel love, because you're going to need it to help another person. You're going to need it. And then, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do my job right now. And believe it or not, guys, I done it. Like the Spirit says, it only takes a little bit of effort. Now, if you don't do anything, you're going to work without develop the capability to love and the capability to have compassion. Compassion is also what? A feeling. We cannot become robots that do good things. We can't. I can come over here and I can do 10,000 volunteer jobs without develop this much of love. Because I need to feel what I'm doing. And that's completely different. The people that work at the center knows that when you feel compassion, when you have inner peace, when you do and you're going to talk to somebody, the results are completely different. Completely different. I don't care what job you do over here, or any place that you volunteer, or even in your regular job. If you're going to go to work and you are in peace with yourself, you can do wonderful things. But when you're not, God help us. God help us. That's why. Do you understand why he said that? Because when we pass, what's going to count? It's our vibration. And our vibration is our feelings and our thoughts. This is what our vibration is. So that's why I don't know you, because you became this robot. And you're marching, doing your work. And you don't develop feelings. That's what this is all about. And if you don't develop the capability of love, because that love is going to bring inner peace to you, then your vibration is not going to rise. And you might disincarnate today and keep doing your everyday lives. You don't have what it takes. That's simple. So those are great warnings for us. And this is a passage from what the Spirit said about that message that I thought it would be great for you guys to have it. That it said, all who recognize the mission of Jesus says, Lord, Lord, but what use of it is called master or love when you do not follow his teaching, his precepts? Now, what is that he is asking? Love one another. Love one another. Like I loved you. I know this is hard for some people, but love one another. I remember years ago, I heard a story of a guy that went to the center in Brazil. And this is very good for us, a good example. And because he was very rich, and he wanted to do something good for somebody. And he wanted to help somebody. So he went to the center, and it was one of the centers that you can actually talk to the Spirit. So he went there and said, listen, I need to help someone. Give me a person that needs help, because I'm going to change her life or the family's life, because I have money and I have a way of doing this. So, the spirits told him, there is somebody inside of your house that needs a lot of help. You don't have to go look to practice the gospel. You don't have to go look you have to look for the ones that are very close to you. So he went back and said, who? And then he had a person in Brazil, we call them lavadeira, which is a person that goes to your house just to wash your clothes. We still have this in Brazil, believe it or not. So a person will go there once a week and we will wash the clothes, and the next time she'll come in to iron. So he went and he saw the person there, and he said, let me talk to this person. And say, how are you? I said, I'm fine, sir, I'm fine. And he said, no. How are you? What's going on in your life? Are you okay? And then she started crying. Husband passed away. 4 kids starving at home. And that was been going on for 6 months. He didn't even realize that she lost her husband 6 months ago. And then he changed her life. He said, I'm going to help you. First, I'm going to buy you a house, because I have a way of doing that. And then I'm going to give you this much money, which is salario, the minimum age there, for 2 years until your situation gets better and you're still working for us and for the other families. So when I read the story was all about this, because sometimes we are looking to love outside of our range. So we want to love one another, but we cannot love each other inside of the center. Or in our families. So we want to open up some works where we can give food for the ones that is in need, but we cannot love a guy or a girl or somebody that's working with us every week. How good is that? That's why I said every opportunity that we have, we need to take it for granted. We need to use it. Let it go. Learn how to forgive. Do that. Because be more tolerant, because this is what this is all about. And he finished here, seeing that as Spiritist, they have prayers on the lips, but not on the heart. They can impress men with their manners, but not God. We are going to fool ourselves, God. The only person that we fool is ourselves, to be honest with you. That's what we're doing. We're fooling ourselves. Because to God, no. We can pray with our lips, but not with our heart. We can put a mask here and come to center and pretend that we are saint, but on the inside, we're dying. We have a lot to work on it. Now, we need to start looking into those things. We need to start paying attention to the real thing. Because that's what we want. We want to be the real thing, right? We wanted to go there and say, you know what, I was a great Christian. I was. I loved. I helped. I did everything that I could, and I also work on myself. Because that's what I have to do. We don't want to wait for the time that we have to go, no? And then said, and another thing that we're going to talk, we cannot say that we didn't know. We cannot say that we did not know. That excuse for us, it won't work. So, if you're not willing to do this, try to make up another excuse. Because that one can't do it. And this is exactly what this new thing said. Much will be asked of the who receives much. This is in Luke 12. And that servant which knew his Lord will and prepare not himself, neither did according to his will, should be beaten with many stripes. But that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripe, should be beaten with a few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him should much be required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. Let me ask you guys something. Do you truly believe that you are here tonight on a hurricane night when you could be doing 1,000 other things? Do you really believe that Spiritist interest you for nothing out of the blue? Or you think that you are here or you are a Spiritist because you already knew what you were supposed to do?
We are chosen.
Mm-hmm. We just have to become the chosen. Yeah, true. Because people, think about it. How many people don't care about this? How many people that when you talk about spirituality, they say, yeah, sure, right, let me go to my beer and let me go to my parties. And they don't want to know. That means that they're not ready. They are not ready. Now, the first time that you heard about Spiritism, and then you became really interested, and you come here and you try to change your life, that it's because you knew from before you were born, and you knew what you're supposed to be doing here. So sometimes you cannot compare yourself to other people, because everybody has something that it's called evolution. And you reach to a point when you came here that it was a test for you, and materialism is something huge, but you're supposed to do the other thing. That's why you're interested. You are ready. But even though that you are ready, the door is still narrow. The door is still narrow. So we still have to do this. Let me introduce a word for you guys. And this word that I want to talk to you is something that people are being forgetting about it. It's called moral suffering. Moral suffering. That's the reason why we suffer. Think about that. If somebody hit your face, slapped your face, that's going to hurt for how long? Physically. maybe 3-5 seconds, right? Ugh. Maybe a few hours, let me put it that, if it was a punch on the face. Let's give it a day. Let's give it a day. That's going to physically hurt you. Now, how long would that going to hurt you morally? That's what morally suffering is. That's why the Spirit said morally suffering is so much worse than physical suffering. So much worse. Why? Because if somebody punch you in the face or slap your face, you are going to have trouble to forgive. And that's going to hurt. And sometimes that can hurt for, you can take that suffering, believe it or not, for your next life. And when you see the vibration that a person that gives you, say, oh, I don't like that person. You keep going because you are, this is how important forgiveness is. For us, not for other people, for us. Because when you don't forgive and we don't like a person, when that person walks in the room, it makes you feel bad. So your vibration, it's gone. All the love that you want to give, gone because of that one person. Right? So think about that. All the suffering that we have in this world here, they are moral suffering. Moral suffering. So how can we live a life with less suffering? How? Developing morals quality. Just like, and it's not impossible. Gandhi, when he was shot, somebody asked him, do you forgive the person that shot you, Master? His answer was no, because I did not feel hurt. So the shot only hurt him for like an hour or so. Just like Jesus' suffering, physical. He hurt for that moment and that was gone, because to us, what he did was like a little child, like Luigi said last time. So if we wanted to live a better life, it's a very simple recipe. We have to develop a sense of morals. And that includes forgiveness, compassion, tolerance, charity, and all the above. And those opportunity is knocking on our door every single day. Oh, Jesus, I didn't have the opportunity. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Every single day. Okay? So that's what we need. Moral suffering brings a lot of pain. And sometimes we want to deal with events. Events are not that important. Moral, the way we see, the perspective that we see things, is what we need to work on. Thank you so much.